Chapter 84. Cloning Technique. Ding. You have been physically killed 300 times. You have awakened a mid-grade Vajra Dharma body. Your physique has increased by 300 points. The strength of your flesh and bones has increased by 2 times. Amidst the system notification, the golden light on Songshi's body condensed into 2 new Vajra runes that appeared on his glabella and back. 2 circles of golden energy spread out and fused with the first layer of the shield. The thickness of the shield increased greatly, as his defense immediately increased greatly as well. If the original golden energy shield was as thin as a cicada's wings, then the improved shield would be like a gauze this time. Songshi's skin had become even more delicate as well, like high-quality gold, that emitted a dazzling light. The bone-breaking needle attacked him again. With a ding, it was directly repelled by the golden light from Songshi's body, and left only a mark between his eyebrows. It could no longer break through Songshi's protective barrier. Songshi opened his eyes, which were shining with golden light. He looked at his basic attribute statistics. Race: human. Spirit: 634. Physique: 1085. Comprehension: 251. Talent: Supreme Grade Fire Spirit Root, Supreme Grade Gold Spirit Root, Da Heart Illumination, Mid-Grade Vajra Dharma Body. Ability: Iron Sand Palm Perfection, Dragon Elephant Technique First Beginner, Yawn Refinement Technique 8th Level, Unfettered Hand Perfection, Phantom Image Step Perfection, 9 Yawn Divine Technique, Mid-Stage of Level 2, Array Formation Beginner 24, Fireball Technique Perfection, Gustwine Sword Great Mastery, Storm Saber Great Mastery, Yin Yawn Secret Technique Minor Accomplishment, Grand Moon Visualization Method Beginner, Light Body Technique Beginner. Energy: 9 Yawn True Energy 590. Freedom Attribute Points 25. Lottery Chance 3. My physique has become much stronger again, Songshi muttered, after he had been killed by the extraordinary invisible shadow guards. For the first 10 times, he had received 50 points of physique. After his physique leveled up, he received an additional 300 points again. His physique had already exceeded 1,000 points. The Diamond Dharma body had increased the defense of his bones and flesh by 2 times. Now his body was comparable to high-grade Dharma artifacts and could resist the other party's Dharma artifacts that specialize in breaking armor. Now, I think I can catch any Dharma artifacts with my bare hands. The extraordinary invisible shadow guard had fought with Chen Yiling and the others for a long time, and had also fought with Songshi for dozens of rounds. At this moment, after killing Songshi more than 100 times in a row, his deep reserve of essence energy was almost exhausted. Songshi gave him a close-range attack and boom. He was sent flying by Songshi's slap. Even his Dharma artifacts fell to the ground. Songshi's figure flashed, and with a crack, he broke the man's neck. He had successfully killed his first extraordinary Foundation establishment cultivator. He lowered his body and took out his storage dag. He formed a seal and condensed the spiritual chi of heaven and earth. It turned into a fireball that he threw out, which destroyed the corpse. After doing this, he was not in a hurry to disperse the array. Instead, he continued to use the array formation power as a cover and began to dig holes in the courtyard. He found a tool in the manor and started digging intensely. It was Songshi's first time burying corpses, and he did it very seriously. As the soul flew everywhere, Songshi had managed to dig out a huge pit. Songshi estimated that the space should be able to hold dozens of corpses. Daoist Kai said that he wanted to bury the dead too, but he actually ran away. Songshi cursed as he moved the corpses into the pit. Then, he grabbed the soul lying around with his pawn, and pushed the soul over the pit to bury the corpses. After doing this, he clapped his hands and stepped on the soul to flatten the pit. Brothers, I fulfilled my promise to you. If you have any dissatisfaction, go find Daoist Kai. He took your things, but didn't do anything. With that, he used his 3 new lottery chances that he had obtained. He couldn't help but be addicted to farming deaths in order to get lottery chances. The lottery rewards were too interesting. As the wheel of the remaining 7 items moved, Songshi drew 3 times in a row. Ding, congratulations on obtaining a storage ring. Ding, congratulations on drawing the Breeze Sword Control Technique. Ding, congratulations on drawing the 1 Chi Cloning Technique. Songshi was surprised. Could the 1 Chi Clone Technique be related to the legendary 3 Pure Ones Technique? He hurriedly checked his stats. 1 Chi cloning technique. High-grade spell. Condenses an avatar with energy that possesses a certain level of strength. When perfected, it can possess 90% of the strength of the main body's Chi refinement realm. After reading the introduction, Song Chi confirmed that it had nothing to do with the 3 Pure Ones technique. It was just an ordinary cloning technique. If my clone can disguise my real body, I will be more protected and secure when I go to court death in the future. Song Chi was quite happy, this time, since he had encountered a powerhouse. Like Old Man Nightmare who far exceeded his standards and abilities. He was extremely worried that his secret would be exposed. However, if he had a clone to act as a decoy, he would be less suspicious when farming deaths. The other 2 items were not bad either. The storage ring was a low-grade Dharma treasure. It contained 10 dimensions of space and could store a large number of resources. He directly emptied his storage bags and placed all the most precious resources inside this ring. The final breeze sword control technique was not simple either. It was a top-notch spell that would allow Song Chi to fly on a sword while killing his enemies. It would also give him the power to split mountains and rivers. These 3 things were enough to benefit him greatly in the future. Song Chi was satisfied. He ran over and picked up the array disc. With a tap of his foot, it disappeared. Not long after he left the courtyard, a howl from a wolf faintly sounded from outside the town. Swoosh! A black shadow flashed. Beside the huge pit that Song Chi had just buried, a black wolf that was shaped like a calf appeared. Its entire body was surging with black baleful aura and its eyes were filled with cunningness. Behind it, more of the same black wolves appeared one after another. They came to the pit and started digging it with their claws. The corpses that Song Chi had just buried were all dug out. Many of the black wolves revealed greedy expressions. Their saliva flowed out and dripped onto the soil. They opened their mouths and bared their sharp fangs, then rushed forward and tore at the flesh of the corpses. A terrifying biting sound sounded out, and more than 10 black wolves began a scrumptious feast. Roar! Suddenly, the black wolf who was the leader of the pack roared angrily and stared at a certain spot. A yellow shadow flashed from that spot and snatched a piece of meat from the pit. In the collapsed corner of the courtyard, a weasel-like wolf grinned and lowered its head to eat the food in its mouth. Ferocious beasts with murderous auras appeared one after another and began to fight for the flesh of these cultivators. It was just like how martial artists felt that eating vicious beasts' meat was tasty. To these beasts, the flesh of cultivators was equally delicious. The corpses that Song Chi had painstakingly buried were snatched away by a group of animals and devoured in an instant. 15 kilometers away, at the edge of the Thousand Poisons mountain range, Chen Yiling and the others sat cross-legged in a cave to recover. Wuxia Zi, who was beside them, still have not woken up. After he was knocked unconscious, he had been tied tightly by a rope. Taoist Kai used the excuse of being a guard to stay outside the cave. He hid behind a 10-foot-tall rock and was organizing his gains from his corpse loot. I'm rich. No wonder they say that killing people will fatten you. I think looting corpses is not a bad alternative to that. He muttered happily. He felt that the treasures he had obtained from the corpse this time were enough for him to use for the next few years. However, Foundation establishment tools could not be bought even with these. He still had to follow Chen Yiling and take the risk to complete the quest. Taoist Kai's face fell. He sighed. It's difficult to be a rogue cultivator. It's really so difficult. Taoist Kai, did you forget to do something? Song Chi's voice suddenly sounded from the boulder. When he looked up, Taoist Kai's expression immediately darkened. You're finally here.